Do you know about the dumbest bird that ever lived? Yes, I'm talking about the dodo bird. This bird was referred to as dodo by Dutch sailors, which is an insult in English, meaning idiot. This bird tends to receive insults due to its inability to fly. Dodo's rapid extinction was caused by its tendency to trip when running and the total absence of survival instincts. They were even being hunted by sailors for food without any challenge. However, recent findings contradict this established notion about these birds' simple-mindedness. Scientists came to the conclusion that the dodos were fairly intelligent birds after analyzing their body composition and its brain. The DNA can be inserted into the eggs of the closely related animal, which is the modern pigeon, if researchers wanted to create a clone. If this happens, it might create a fresh, intriguing cartoon character, and might also become well-known. As can be observed in the modern world, whenever there is a strange animal, people express their opinions about it through cartoons, films, movies, and otherwise any form of media. However, in the past, stories about extraordinary creatures were turned into myths and legends, but these tales were terrifying rather than entertaining. In this video, you're going to find out which monster legends are still controversial in some communities. You'll also be surprised that a certain creature can hypnotize you. You'll be able to learn which extinct species served as the inspiration for the scariest legends. Are you ready to meet your monsters? Then let's get this started. The first animal that we're going to talk about is the platybelodon. You'll laugh at the platybelodon's appearance at first glance, but keep in mind that this is a species of extinct probe obsidians that lived 15 million years ago. Platybelodon has no trunk, which makes it appear less menacing even if it had 4 terrible tusks. The creature's entire mouth and lips were enlarged, and its lower jaw had a strange shovel-like shape. Even elephants nowadays would laugh at its appearance. The Dinotherium comes next. It resembles Platybelodon, has a trunk, and its tusks point backwards. Even scientists had trouble figuring out how it could probably use its trunks in that position. When fighting an opponent with these tusks, it was as if using a handle instead of an actual blade. It might not be very helpful in his defense. Due to its tusks, this animal may hurt itself with even the slightest nod. Yes, that does represent a completely new degree of disparaging oneself. However, there are several strange extinct species that people have witnessed with their own eyes. In the 1980s, Roy McCall, a biologist from the University of Chicago, made the decision to organize an expedition to the Lakaula swamps in order to look for the intriguing water monster that was mentioned in the myths and legends of the Republic of Congo. However, the people in the area didn't want to help him. That is because they are forbidden to talk about the creature, out of fear of this monster. Fortunately, a woman had the guts to share a story about this animal. According to her, the animal's back is boarded. Her parents used to tell her to stay away from this animal, and if she ever saw it, she better hide behind the trees to save her life. There was a time when she did see the creature's back coming out of the water, and I know you're wondering what animal this is. The woman was then given a book with drawings of dinosaurs so she could identify this animal. The woman, who had grown up being terrified of this monster, suddenly fixated her eyes on the image of a stegosaurus. It had a noticeable Spinosaurus-like look to it. However, those creatures couldn't be the animal that she saw. After all, dinosaurs went extinct a long time ago. The frightening creature she was referring to, based on the woman's description, is the Nguma monene, an enormous lizard that once inhabited Central Africa. It has small legs, a forked tongue, and a spine frill with sharp points. Because of these features, the enormous 15-meter-long lizard resembled some kind of extinct animal. It consumes birds and monkeys while moving swiftly through the wetlands. At worst, it might make a meal out of a child who gets lost in the woods. The strangest animal that is truly dangerous to people is still not that one though. You should be grateful that you are unable to coexist with the animal I'm about to describe, because there would be no hope for you to survive if you came across it. Well, I'm talking about the Therizinosaurus. For 2 reasons, this species is included in the Guinness Book of World Records. First, each of its paws has 3 claws, each measuring a meter long. This animal will be able to kill its prey very quickly, with simply an embrace. Second, given its lengthy neck, its relatively small skull seems quite out of place. Along with its huge size, These features created a strange appearance. It simply implies that anything has the potential to be on record when it is strange. The next animal wasn't a myth, yet some people called it devilish. It's the Beelzebufo ampinga, a frog, but not the common kind you see. This is a huge devil frog. The Beelzebufo ampinga is the largest frog that has ever lived, and unlike other frogs you're familiar with, it is the size of a pit bull and weighs as much as an enormous dog. But why is it known as the devil frog? That is due to the fact that its jaws are capable of exerting pressure equal to 2,200 newtons, which is comparable to the force used by mammalian predators to close their jaws. If this frog had existed alongside dinosaurs, it could have easily had some of them for dinner. However, it might possess the hypnotic abilities similar to the hypnotoad from Futurama. Are you aware of the myth about a strange and dangerous amphibian that has the capability to hypnotize humans and then sell them as slaves in Australian Aboriginal legend? Before we continue, I just want to remind you that if you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly enjoying it. Give it a like, subscribe so you don't miss anything, and let us know what you think in the comments section. Next is the animal the bunyip. This animal can be found deep within swamps and rivers. According to folklore, the creature had the power to alter the water's level. This creature preyed primarily on women and children. It killed its prey by hugging them with razor-sharp claws until they died. A deeper analysis, however, suggests that this mythical animal might actually be the marsupial lion-like Thylacoleo, an extinct Australian marsupial. It was the mammal species with the strongest bite. It can even climb trees to bury its victims' bodies. In the landfill where the Thylacoleo lived, numerous bones and cuts connecting to this animal's teeth were discovered. Following additional examination, it was found that the bones belonged to several 100,000 different victims that this monster slaughtered. Could you believe that there are creatures that are scarier than the ones I've already mentioned? Well, you have to believe it. A story about 3 men trying to catch a swordfish was discovered in the journal of a 19th century missionary named John Batchelor. It says that an enormous sea monster with large eyes suddenly appeared in front of them and began attacking the boat. The 3 men fought back. The monster was round in shape and threw a poisonous-smelling dark liquid. The 3 men succeeded in getting away from the sea monster. They, however, refused to eat the following morning and instead lay pallid and trembling in their beds. What kind of marine animal had they faced? No, it's not the kraken. Instead, it's the Akurokamui. In Ainu tradition, this creature is known as a giant octopus. Ainu are the native inhabitants of the Japanese islands. Akurokamui measured 120 meters in length. The Ainu believed that although Akurokamui was unstable and prone to disaster, it also had the power to heal and transmit wisdom. People think that this monster can heal physical diseases, notably deformities and broken limbs, due to its ability to self-amputate and regrow its limbs. Akurokamui might have been a squid that existed in the Cretaceous era. Another mysterious-looking animal is the Pulmonoscorpius. It is a kind of eurypterid that survived during the Paleozoic era and was found in the areas that are now modern-day Germany and the United States. For the record, this animal is the largest known arthropod that has ever existed. It was enormous in that it could grow to a length of 70 meters, way different from the modern scorpion's maximum length of only 18 centimeters. Pulmonoscorpius had 4 limbs and enormous pincers. When a regular scorpion stings you, your central nervous system and cardiovascular systems will be adversely affected by a dose of powerful neurotoxins. Such stings can be lethal in some instances. That indicates a more serious outcome might occur if you were stung by the Pulmonoscorpius. Gigantopithecus is a creature that could still be alive today. This animal came from the family of giant apes that existed in the late Miocene, Pliocene, and Pleistocene on the lands that are today India, China, and Vietnam. It stood around 3 meters tall and weighed about 500 kilograms. They had a significant edge over species because of their huge size. This is also the reason this animal was rarely a prey item. They were even capable of searching a large region for food. The giant apes began to experience food shortages during the Ice Age. Their bodies couldn't adjust to eating the available food because they were used to consuming mostly fruit. And this is the main cause behind their extinction. Do you know Bigfoot or the Yeti? Well, many different civilizations have legends about unusual people or apes that are completely clothed in fur. The depiction of Bigfoot, for example, is based on what appears to be eyewitness testimony, enormous footprints in the snow, and fur samples. However, if Bigfoot and the Yeti exist, it is most probably because they are Gigantopithecus's direct ancestors. Bigfoot always wanted to be alone and would probably decide to live in the mountains or the dense forest if human civilization entered its territory. Furthermore, if it were intelligent enough, it might be able to remain undetected for hundreds or even thousands of years from human eyes. As we can all see, when something unusual catches our interest, we frequently fall back on making up a tall tale. We often make up stories to satisfy our imaginations. What would you create if you had the chance to produce an animal myth in the present day? Let us know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Please click the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are posted. And as always, thanks for watching Ponder This.